Okay. So yes, this is our first conference for this cycle of conference of the archaeology of social dynamics, our group here in the CSIC. And we will start with Juanjo. I'm sure that everybody knows Juanjo very well. He's an archaeologist and a specialist in functional analysis of lithic tools. He worked mostly in the Near East, in Syria, in Lebanon, and recently he's conducting an excavation in northern Jordan, Kharaysin, the Kharaysin site that you will be updated now today with recent discoveries and news from this site. So for now, Juanjo will share his screen. Would you please mute your microphones, and then after the conference, of course, you are most welcome to ask all your questions. Go ahead, Juanjo.
Thank you very much, Hala. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm going to share my screen. Is it okay? Do you see it? Okay. Yeah, the idea of this conference is telling you about the novelties of the last fieldwork campaign that we finished 3 weeks ago. We were working there from mid-September to late October. And so maybe many things are not too much elaborated, but this is a way to also to hear your opinion about the site and the structures. So I'm very glad that you are here and we can share this information. I'm working in this site with Juan from Asturias. And as you maybe know, the site of Kharaysin is by the Zarqa River in northern Jordan, in the Mediterranean region. Is near the source of Kharaysin. In fact, the site is called Kharaysin, but as the researchers who discovered the site call it Kharaysin, we are still using this name, and it is near the source, the natural source of Kharaysin, where we found this year, and we sampled a section very interesting with several layers of tufa. So clay and tufa. So maybe we think that we will be able to carry out a very nice environmental analysis, and hopefully maybe this sequence is parallel to the occupation of the site, but this is something that we have to check. But going back to the site, we have been working since 2014, and we have been excavating in 4 areas, A, B, C, and D. In areas A, B, and C, we have stuff from late PPNA to the middle PPNB. And in area D, we have something that is late Neolithic or late PPNB or PPNC. It's a very experienced technology, and it's dated at the beginning of the 7th millennium. We published one burial from this area with indication of cremation. Unfortunately, now this area is being cultivated, so I don't know if we will be able to continue working in this area. But this is a plan of part of the site, which is a very big site, very extended site. This is the central area, the place where we are allowed to work. And just some small summary of the stuff we found previous fieldwork seasons. and to understand what is new from this site. We have here zone A of the site, where in surface we found, after excavation, yeah, I mean, that we found some structures that correspond to the late PPNA. These are oval dwellings. We have one here. In this case, we have two structures, and one of these structures is over the other, so there is a superposition. This is the older one, and this is the younger one. And we have here another structure. Both are partially sunken, oval, and here we have the structures corresponding to the west. Here we have the two structures. These are middle PPMB pits. This is the upper structure here, this one, and there were still some remains of plaster floor, and the other oval dwelling beneath this one with a floor of mud, sediment. And here we have the other dwelling that is at the east. And here this is very interesting because it's also oval, it's semi-sunken, and we identified like two rooms separated by this small mud brick wall, and this room is covered with lime plaster floor. The floor was analyzed, and it's really lime plaster. So it was the limestone was burnt, and there were some remains of red colorant, and the chronology is around 8,800 calibrated BC. So it's a case of the use of lime plaster is very old. And this fits well with what seems to be a precocious use of lime plaster from southern Levant. Maybe this is something, lime plaster was something that was like the offering of the southern Levant, to one of the offerings of southern Levant to the PPMB Coine, as Professor said. No? So Professor Barrios said in the past. So we have these two dwellings dating for the late PPNA, and here we have other structures that are dated in the middle PPMB. They are squared houses. So we think that the structure of the village at the middle PPMB was something like this, with square houses in parallel in rows. This is a reconstruction of that was made for the Spanish television, but it's nice. Okay, so another interesting aspect of this area is that beside these PPNE structures and these PPMB structures, this line of houses here and this other line of houses here, we found a funerary area where several burials were associated to figurines and other stuff of other halls. And we interpreted this as an area where some kind of rituals related to the disease have been taking place. Here we see the burials. These points are the stone, the flint figurines that we already published in Antiquity. These are the Nahal Hemar knives we found also in the area. And these are some of the burials that we found in this funerary area. Some of them are primary burials with a skull, and secondary deposits. So there is a very complex behavior related to these burials. We are asking, or we are wondering if maybe this variety of behavior is not random, and maybe each individual merited a kind of different behavior after primary burial, because the variety of rituals is enormous, it's incredible. So here you can see some of the flint figurines we found that we interpret them as human outlines, that they are no tools, they were not used, and the morphology could suggest they are representing humans, and they are associated to the burials. Some of them are clearly not do not show potential for using them as tools. These are the Nahal knives we found in the funerary area. And so in this area A, where we have the PPMB, the middle PPMB and the late PPNA architecture, we worked in the last fieldwork season, we worked in this area where we found a structure slightly curved with a wall here and a floor of mud brick. And we found in 2019. So we wanted to know what was happening with this structure under the middle PPMB squat house that you can see here, this one. So we have been working in this area. And what we found in this area is something like this. Under the structure, we found part of the funerary level. So in this case, we were able to locate in stratigraphy very clearly this funerary area that is in between two architectural levels. So that was a problem in our previous paper because of the erosion in the slope, we had the middle PPMB and the funerary area, and the relationship between the funerary area and the houses was not very clear because both were surface. There were no strict stratigraphic position. But here now, in this area, we see that the funerary area with primary and secondary deposits is under two levels of architecture. Here you can see the excavation of this funerary area with several burials. You can see here some figurines in situ. For example, this one, or here this other one. I would like to hear your opinion, but anyone knowing the technology and the type of tools that are usual in the PPMB, in the middle PPMB period, knows that these are something very particular. They are not typical tools. So under this funerary level, we found another plaster floor, so another level of architecture, and the funerary area was in between. And we extended this floor, we worked in this area, and what we found is this. So under the funerary level, we found a very big structure. This is the wall, the eastern wall, the northern wall, the western wall that is doubled here and here. This is the plaster floor. And what is very particular here is that the house is very, very big. It's around 10 meters in this axe and around 7 meters in the other axe. And the building is broken by this terracing wall. This is a modern terracing wall here. So we don't have exactly complete, but in any case, it is a big building. And we see also that this building seems to is cutting the structure I showed you before, this here on the wall. So we are wondering about the function of this building. We don't have datings yet. I have to send some samples, but the material associated to this building indicates it is a middle PPMV or at least a PPMV period. So we have these two buildings and this burial level in between in this area A. Here you can see another view of this building. There are two post holes. Maybe there is another one here, but these are in an area of the excavation that is quite eroded. So we are not 100% sure about these post holes, but these two are correct. So there were some posts in the middle of the building for supporting the roof. But it is also interesting to show that inside the wall, there were also some wood posts. You can see here 1, 2, 3, and 4 at least. And in this case, for example, you can see the hole of the wood in the floor. So it's a very big surface, very extended surface. So there should have been a very complex system for roofing it, for supporting the structure of this site. The plaster floor is quite modified or altered by animals and so on, but it's very, very clear. And now we go to the zone B. You remember we were working, I explained you about this zone A, and now we will speak about zone B. In this area, we find complex stratigraphy with middle PPMV, early PPMV, and late PPMV structures. This image is mostly showing the buildings that are associated to the early PPMV. It's not a very old early PPMV period. It's around 8003, 8004 calibrated BC. You can see there in the chronology. And here we found some agglomerated houses. Here you can see one house with plaster floor. There is a wall, another house here with a fireplace, a rounded fireplace here. This is another rounded fireplace. This part of the area was destroyed by bulldozing in the past for making a track, but we could excavate and cover here a part of one structure, here another one, here another one. This is a bit more recent. Here there is a door, the fireplace. We were working on this area also last year. This is an image of the excavation when we left it in 2019. Here we found in this area remains of a middle PPMV house with a plaster floor. Walls are not preserved because the stones were reused. And this is, apart from this middle PPMV house here, we have another early PPMV house. We will see this more in detail. There are two post holes here. This is the fireplace. The house was originally covered with lime plaster floor. Here there are some remains, but most of the area shows now a mud floor because the plaster floor disappeared. during the use of the house, most probably. But we will see this building later. Now we are speaking about this building. We excavated here in the right. You have some burials, some individuals that were under the floor of this middle PPMB building. This was one of the activities we carried out this year, excavating these burials. And here I will speak about this building. Here you have the middle PPMB, part of the middle PPMB building. Here you have this early PPMB with the post holes. This is a fireplace. This is a tool for milling stone. And also look this square structure here. I speak about it. Most probably this house, and this house were contemporaneous, sharing walls. And they are dated, as I told you, in the second half of the 9th millennium calibrated BC. Here you can see this building. So it's semi-sunken. There are also post holes in the wall to support the roof. These two big post holes. Here you see the milling stone in primary position. Look at this structure, we will speak about that. There in the wall, in 2019, we found 3 skulls inside the wall. Originally, they were covered by the plastering of the wall. So they were inserted in the wall, but it was not possible to see them during the use of the house. And here you have you can see the third one, after taking out this skull and these other skulls here and here. And what about this square structure in the corner, in the northwestern corner of the house? Here we found the house was burnt before when it was abandoned. And here we found a continuous layer of charcoal. We took samples, but it was evident that this square area was covered with wood. And there were some burnt bones over on this square pit. And when we took out this wood, burnt wood layer, we observed that there were many other bones inside, some skulls, some other bones. So it seemed to be a burial, a place to place the bodies, parts of the bodies. This year we have been excavating this square pit, but we didn't finish, in fact. We will see. This is the results of the excavation. We were digging here for 5 weeks almost, but we were only able to excavate the first layer, where Jonathan Santana, the anthropologist, he could excavate 5 remains of 5 individuals at least, but the remains continues to be down there. So we will continue next year because it seems to be the place for the deposit of human remains, but it's not finished. So we're continuing digging there. So this is the house we saw before, the fireplace, the post holes, the square pit with the burials. Here we found the 3 skulls inserted in the wall. And this image is showing you how we finished this fieldwork season this year. This is one house, we also know it, we show it in previous slides, the fireplace. But I especially wanted to show you a very particular building corresponding to the late PPNA, we think it's late PPNA building. So Here we had this middle PPMB building with a plaster floor. And under that we found this. We will explain it later. But this is the middle PPMB, the early PPMB building. And in this area, we already found in 2017 and 18 a very particular building. This is the building. You remember that this area, from this line, the stratigraphy was cut by the bulldozer. Here, was eliminated. But here you can see two milling stones. This is in position. So it's a mortar stone, a milling mortar stone here. This is the floor. This is the wall. You can see here, this is a bent wall. In the other area, the limits of this building are squared. There is a square angle here. This is destroyed. So we will look at this zone. These are the early PPMB buildings, but we will look at this area here. This here, and the interesting thing is that we found this building, and after that there is a connection here, like a corridor, and we will see that there is another room here, and all these correspond to the same building. Here you can see the building as we saw it in previous fieldwork. So here we have the bent wall. Here we have the square wall. This would be the mat floor. So here, the floor, the wall, the other wall, and the mortar here. And in this area, in this building, we found three burials. You can see the burials here. Here you can see the same object here. And the characteristics of these burials were a bit specific, because in the tree we found for the first time one offering, one object that in the three cases were like a mortar. Here you can see a hand mortar, hand stone used to work on the mortar. Here, another one here, another one here. In this case, this is very interesting because the mortar, in this case, the hand stone here to work on the mortar, was intentionally broken. One piece was in one side of the burial of the individual, probably a woman, and the other half was here. They refit, and we can see very clearly the place where the tool was striken to broke it. So, but in the other two cases, the tool was not broken. But going back to this very particular structure, here you can see the section we found. This is the mortar we saw previously. This is the wall. This is the natural part of the site. This is the wall. This is inside. So this is inside. This is outside. You can see the stratigraphy and the destruction of the building. And we found this hoard, this cache, we can say in French, with these very nice tools. They were there in the corner, most probably intentionally left there when the building was abandoned. And here you can see another view of this area. You can see the wall here, you can see this part, and the corridor. That was the surprise. When we excavate this, we were not expecting we would find this corridor. And after this corridor, you can see that there is another room that is opening here. It is clearly under the other building, and the chronology of this, we have one dating of this building, and it is around 8,800 calibrated BC. So a very, very late PPNA, something like this. It's a very particular building. I would like to hear your opinion on that. But so the floor is made of mud. It's not a plaster floor, but we have not finished. We have not finished yet the excavation of this building because we were working on the side, on the inner part of this building. But we saw that probably the building has a part that is built on with wall, and maybe it was excavated in the natural surface. So we have to continue working in this area next year. And here you can, this is the corridor here. This is the inner part of the building. This is like, there is a pit with traces of fire here. And this is the other part of this is the western part. The western part, this is looking through the north. The north would be this area here. This would be the north. This is the south. This is the west. So this is the west part of the building. There is a very particular depression here. This is the eastern part of this building. This is the corridor here. And this is also very particular depression here. And probably in this building, they also have some posts for wood here, here, and here. That is, yeah, this is like a sub-rectangular room, what is very particular for southern Lebanon in this period. I have to say that, yeah, we will speak about that, but up to the level of early PPMB, this is the early PPMB house, all the material is bipolar technology, some points with encoches, but here in this building, inside this building, we only find unipolar technology. You will see some of the tools. So this could fit well with the PPNA, the late PPNA, and this would indicate that maybe the bipolar technology is arriving to the site some period in between this building that is dated around 8,800 and this building that is dated around 8,400. So here you can see another image of the excavation area with this particular building, and here the pit with the burials. And here again, one image of the excavation area. It is interesting because when we excavated the plaster floor here that was covering this area, we found also this wall that is only partially excavated. So there is another building here, and this building is also inside this building we found unipolar technology. Also, so probably this building here and this building are contemporaneous. Unfortunately, we will never be able, probably, who knows, but it will be impossible to dig in this area because this is another field and the owner is not giving us permission to work there. I have to say that every year we have to cover and uncover. This is a private land and we have to have the permission of the owner and to pay something to him. So maybe, I don't know if we will be able to know what is going on in this part of the site. But at least here we have another interesting building that is probably contemporaneous to this one. Lionel Goubichon from CNRS, he was with us this year, and he studied the middle PPMB faunal remains. You can see here that there is a dominance of gold with some aurochs. But this year he worked also in the early PPMB and the late PPNA. And the interesting thing for this period is that the proportion of gold goes down and the proportion of gazelle goes up. So, there will be probably a very interesting evolution in the use of faunal remains with more gazelle in the older periods and more gold in the earlier ones. But in any case, there is a big variability of species, and Lionel, he finds that in the older periods, the variability or the diversity of faunal remains is much important. The archaeobotanical analysis was carried out by Caroline Boucher and also Amaya Arral. They are working together. And this site is characterized by the presence of seeds, probably the legumes. Most of them, there are cereals, there are barley and different types of wheat, but the most numerous remains are legumes, like lentils, beech. You can see here some of the species of these legumes. And the interesting thing is that we have legumes of some of the seeds show like a dichotomy in the size. These and some indications of the seeds themselves, and led to Caroline Boucher thinking that probably these legumes were being domesticated at that period, or they were in the process of domestication. So we have to check that to get more dating and to see in detail the place of these legumes. But there are very interesting results, and this importance of legumes fits well with what we see in some Israeli sites, the similar chronology. Here are some tools corresponding to the middle PPMB period. Most of them are Jericho points, but also Amuk points, some of them with pressure retouch. Here you can see some Nahal Hamar knives. They are not common in the site. They are only found around the funerary area. But yeah, here you can see one sickle blade, big one. This is what the middle PPMB industry. We can see here some of the figurines we found this year. There are flint figurines, but we also found clay figurines. Here you can see what we think is a goat. It's a very small one. This is 2 centimeters. It's very, very small. In other cases, we think that this could be a schematic representation of people, persons, maybe. Some of them, they have some punctual incisions. And here you can see some of the points that are associated to the early PPMB. And also these two arrowheads were found in the what we think is a late PPNA building. We need more datings and more analysis, but this seems quite promising and very, some new things were found. And these are some also some tools, also polished axes and some other stuff for using like axes. And this is more or less what I wanted to show you. We hope we will be able to work, continue working next year and getting more information. And now in winter, we have to continue analyzing, and especially maybe the promising stratigraphy of the Kharaysin source that could maybe give us some information about the environment in that period and the possible impact of these farming activities that took place in the Neolithic in the area. So thank you very much. Sorry if there is something you could not understand, please tell me. I'm waiting for your comments on ideas, suggestions, critics, and so on.
So any questions?
Well, if I can, I would like to ask Juanjo a question. It's concerning the flint tools that you show on the last building found this year. What did you say they were? I didn't understand.
Sorry, the tools? What tools?
The two flint tools that did you find in the last building that you show us, corresponding to late PP and A?
Camera or I don't know. They did not stop. He didn't stop.
Yeah, you speak about looking at that here.
Yes.
This
No,
these tools. Yeah, they are.
No. Before.
He's talking about the two tranché axes.
Oh,
yeah.
This one.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Sorry. Yeah, it was. No, I know what I'm looking for. These two.
Yes.
We analyzed the usual, but they were the traces were very faint. They were very fresh, so we did not find usual traces there. Ignacio Clemente analyzed them, and normally, typologically, they should be tranched axes. We call them.
Okay.
And using probably for working wood in a nutting activity, but these two were didn't show clear traces.
Okay.
These are something similar to this one here.
Okay. My question was if they could be sketches of hatches or verminates.
Yes, no, yeah. But this is a very it's known a known typological tool in the area. Mm-hmm. This is something they made it by knapping, and after that they made this area, the edge they made by tranched, the lateral blow. Mm-hmm. So these are not preforms for making groundstone tools. They are tools like this. In some cases, because they are made of flint, and it's something normally they show usual traces. Okay. So yeah, these are really tools.
Thank you.
Okay, if you don't ask, I will ask you.
Can you? Sorry, can you go back to the Khilwan points you showed, the arrowheads?
Yeah.
Do you know what type of blanks they are made on, except for the right one where you can see something?
Yeah, we have to clean them first because they have the deposit of calcareous remains.
So for example, the top left one, is it incrustations?
Yeah, it's full of incrustations of calcareous. So we have to put them in a solution of acetic acid to clean them very well. They are just that they appear in the site. Sorry because of that, but These were, but I think some of them are from bipolar technology. Some of them, at least, we will see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are quite specific. There are not too many of these with 2 or 3 pairs of notches. But okay.
Yeah. This seems to be broken also. So there's one pair here, another one here. This is broken. We don't know about the tongue, but they are very particular. But what is clear that they are changing in this part of the stratigraphy. Normally we find a lot of Jericho points, but here we start finding these points. Yeah. And then when we go down, we start finding these small tanks.
Yeah.
This is also very particular, these two.
Juanjo, in the burials that you've had, have you had a chance yet to compare the sex ratios, male, female?
Yeah, this is made by Jonathan Santana, and there are males and females. We have to check the proportion of that. There are many children and some adults were submitted to this very complex behavior. Children didn't. And there are males and females. You're asking about the proportion, are you?
Yeah.
Jonathan, are you here? I don't know. I will check that. I will tell to you, because we have the analysis of the previous fieldwork seasons. There were male and females, both. But they were identified based on the anatomical characteristics, because DNA in the site is not well preserved. And there were males and females, but I don't want to say something wrong. So I'll tell you in detail the numbers of that, how many males and how many females. Sorry, I cannot provide you with this information now, because I think there are both, but I am not sure the proportion. Maybe 60 males, 40 females, but I'm not sure. I prefer to check that and send the information to you later.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Juan, for this great presentation. And sorry that I missed seeing your excavation while passing by. Juan, did you make a survey of the extension of the site area? And,
yeah.
And is there any surface indication of an LPPNB occupation at the site?
Yeah, we when the site was discovered, and here we have Philip among us, so he can maybe speak about that. They say there is a big site of more than 30 hectares. After that, the site had been affected by different modifications, and this now the site, we said normally 25 hectares. It's a very big site. We can see here all this area. Normally this is the area where we excavate, but where these buildings are placed here, Fernández Guerres excavated, and there is a site there. All this area, we can see that here we could check that there is still site there. All this area also there is a site, but now part of the site is being worked, so we can see that it is not not so big as we consider, because some areas where we thought there were site. The new rotulation indicates that probably there were not. And these are the areas where our electric survey indicated that were the resistivities that were very low. So that's the first thing. I hope next year we will be able to locate in detail the areas where there is site and the areas where there is no site. But maybe it's a big site, very extended site. I think it's a mega site, but we have to check exactly the places where this occupation are. And about late PPNA, yes, we found that in
Late PPNB.
late PPNB. We found that in this part, in zone D, in the upper part of the site. There, in 2016, we made an excavation of around 30 square meter. We found a lot of architecture with a big wall, floors, and the electric survey indicated that was a very an area with very dense and very powerful architecture. The chronology of this area, we dated this in 6,800 calibrated. The technology seems to be quite expedient. No bipolar technology. We have to analyze in detail everything, but so this could be late PPNB or maybe PPNC as you. So it's a very interesting area. We would like to excavate this area in the future. The problem is that now it's being cultivated. We'll see if this is possible or not. But yes, we have also late PPNB, so we have 7 millennium calibrated levels.
Thank you, Juan. I have a second and last question. You mentioned that it is a cache, these two pieces you have shown, these bifacially worked pieces. Can you tell a bit more about this finding?
Yes. So here, here. Okay. Just to explain how we found the site. Here, there was a section that was made by the bulldozer. So in this section, going east-west, we found the early PPNB and the late PPNE levels here in this section. And we started excavating to the north, this area, where we started finding this wall and this building. And here, what we can see here in this picture is the section before excavating. We found this tool, that it is a mortar. This mortar in this picture is here, you see now. And this is the section of the building that we dated in the late PPNA. And this wall is separating the area of natural sediment, the area that was inside the building. So this is it's a sunken building. So this is the wall dividing the natural outside and the inner inside. So this filling of the building corresponds to the destruction. And here you can see that there is a level of destruction here with the stones. But in this level, we found like this stone structure, and inside we found these two tools. And as you can see, we found them in section, and we think this is intentional hoard. And these are very particular because we can find other tranched axes in the side, but normally they are smaller, are not made in this high quality flint. They show use wear, but in this case they were very fresh, both high quality, very big, and made in a very special flint that is not normal in the site. So this is for us an intentional hoard. The meaning is difficult to say.
So how
Juan, may I ask a couple of questions?
Yeah, please.
Firstly, thank you for this great presentation, these results. to my mind, it seems to both confirm and extend the evidence we have of a late PPNA previously from sites like Wadi Sharara, El Hemra, and Zad2 in West Central Jordan.
Mhm.
And there are some striking differences in technologies. But with one of the interesting things in the late PPNA from late Fontanals 16 and Zad2 is this falling off of projectile points.
Mm.
I'm wondering, in the late PPNA, do you have projectile points, and if so, what kind? And do you have Hagdu truncations?
No Hagdu truncations, very few projectile points. I should say that for the late PPNA, we are excavating inner levels. So we don't find, for the moment, we have not found exterior areas where normally most of the material is. We are excavating sediment and levels that are filling the abandoned buildings. But there we find some arrowheads, very few. You can see here two of them, these two were found, these two below were found clearly inside the building, these two. We have to clean them. It's a pity, it's a bit dirty because of this calcareous deposit. But it is very interesting that in the PPMB, there is a very radical change in the industry, not only because the presence of this bipolar technology, but also because they start using a kind of flint that is very similar to the one used in Ain Ghazal. Probably this is coming from the same geological formation. I don't, maybe they are not getting this material from Ain Ghazal, but they are using some flint that is not local. It's a pink flint that you, Gary, know very well, and they start using this flint. On the contrary, in the PPMB, there is some obsidian, but very few, very few.
Yeah.
In the early PPMB and the late PPNA, you find more obsidian. Once you get to these levels, you start finding more obsidian in the older level than in the middle PPMB.
What about the late PPNA? How many pieces in the late PPNA?
Obsidian, we made the account, and this is around 3%. What we have now.
3%.
Yeah,
so quite a bit.
Quite a bit. This is in the early PPMB. We have calculated 0.03, and in the middle PPMB is around 0.03. So very few. But we have to say that we have these counts we have made in the very special building, in this building I show you. So we have to check that with other PPNA buildings. What is clear is that in the late PPNA, we have more obsidian than later. But maybe there is the proportion of obsidian is especially high in this special building, because this happened, for example, in Jerf al-Ahmar, where in the special buildings they found more obsidian than in the domestic buildings. I'm not saying this is not a domestic building. I don't know. There is a mortar, there are two mortars, there are burials, but it's the shape and the size of the building is very particular, and you show the kind of structures of buildings that we have in this period in the zone A. This has oval huts, oval dwellings. This is more usual, but this shape is very particular. And there we found a lot of obsidian. But maybe this is artificially high because this is a particular building.
It's very interesting because in the south, West Central Jordan, that is, you have very small, like 1 to 6 pieces in these sites, and then you compare to the explosion of a fully blown obsidian technology, say in Motza. So all I can ask on behalf of all of us, where will you first be publishing all of this?
Yeah, no, it's very weird.
ADAJ or?
Are we publishing this? I don't know. Yes, dear, you have just come from the field. I have been 2 weeks making a bureaucracy with all the invoices and all these things. And now just we are facing this. I will send the samples to the specialist and I will check with them how to date. And after that, yeah, I hope that in 1 year we will have more information on that. But we are starting now a project with Fiona Pichon. We are also continuing our work on complex network and modeling about obsidian. So we are also working with Ferran Borrell about the origins of this obsidian, with François-Xavier Le Bourdonnec and with Elizabeth and Stuart. So Campbell, so we will advance, and I hope in the coming months we will have more information. But yeah, what we can see is that yeah, in the building, this building, we found 13 obsidian tools, and that represented 3% of the material inside the building. But these are very preliminary information because we have the numbers are not very big.
If I may, there is a question on the
Yes.
chat.
All
So,
right. Can I ask
so
a question
this-
before that? All right.
I just want to read the question
Right.
of Marion. She asked that 10 minutes ago. So,
All
so
right,
thank
all
you. Thank you for this great presentation. Juanjo, this is from Marion, and she's
Hi,
saying
Mario.
that
How are you?
obviously this is a question to be asked by Hala, by me. So thank you, Marion, for asking. I already know the answer, but may I ask you about the kind of ornaments that are related to the infant sub-adult burials, which raw materials had been used for beads and pendants? Thank you.
So do you answer Hala or me or both? Or?
No, go ahead. It's your presentation, so yeah, answer.
Yeah, no. Here we do not find any ornament in the bodies of the burials. Never. That was also the case in Tel Karasa in southern Syria. So you have a lot of ornaments in your site associated to the burials, but that's not our case. So what we find is ornaments, beads that are found in the sediment, and we find a lot of shells and some stone beads. And I brought some of the material to Hala, and she had a first glimpse. So maybe she can add something about that. Hala, maybe, yeah, what do you think about this?
You brought the material, but you didn't give it to me yet.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. No, but
I didn't see that.
we saw it a bit there in Jordan, and it seems that in the older periods we have more shells, and we have more stone in the earlier period. It seems. And you, Hala, told me that some of the shells are very typical of the late PPNA or PPNA, early PPNB. You told me something because they are shells coming from the river, or maybe
Yeah,
you can add something.
they are freshwater shells, Theodoxus genus, which are typical from PPNA sites in northern Levant, but also I saw some of them at Shubaika. So yeah. And then in early PPNB also we have sometimes this kind of freshwater shells.
And apart from that, for the stone beads, we have to analyze them. There are green and red colors. We will check that with Hala this meeting. I mean, do you have a question?
Yeah, you spoke about site size before, and do you have any estimate of the site size concerning the PPNA and early PPNB?
Oh, this is a good
Because
question, a difficult question, yeah. Because it is relatively easy to know the extension of the PPMV site, because there is a lot of industry, bipolar industry, and so, but this is not the case. Distinguishing the middle and the early is very difficult surface, and also this is very difficult for the PPNA. So the only information we have is related to the area we have excavated yet. It's for us, I don't know how we could say that more in detail. We suppose the PPNA site is smaller, but I would be speculating about that if I say something. Sorry.
thank you, thank you. Yeah.
Juanjo?
Yeah. Amelia, how are you?
Very well, and I am delighted this marvelous presentation. I didn't understand one thing about the mortars.
Yeah.
Because you have showed the two mortars associated with this special building, and also one broken mortar in burial.
Yeah, it's a hand mortar. Yeah, maybe I didn't use the good names for that. One of the two big tools that are placed in the late PPNE building are flat slabs that were probably used for milling. I don't know. Maybe Andrea could analyze this in the future. And in the center there is a mortar. There is a hole. The hole.
Yeah.
And what we found in the burial was the tool complementary to that. The tool used for pounding. Pounding. Sorry, that's maybe the name. Pounding tools. And that's what was one of them. In one case, it was intentionally broken, but it's the pounding tool.
Yeah, it's a very big one. The pounding item.
Let's check. But yes, maybe you are right. Here, you can see here, it's like maybe 20 centimeters long. You can check here. This is maybe, I think this is 20.
Yeah.
So if you refit both of them, yeah, it's around 20.
And the wider measure is about 5, 6.
Yeah.
Even more, perhaps.
Yeah, around 5, 6. Yeah, and it was used. There are used traces. It was really used.
And which are the wider of the mortar of the hole?
You can check here. It's here. It is similar. It could fit well. It's a bit bigger than the pounding tool, but it could fit very well with that. So when we found this building, we thought the physical anthropologist thought that this body corresponds to a woman. So we call this building the building of the milling woman. But now I don't know if this is a house or not. We will see. Yeah. In this case, it was intentionally broken.
Wow. And are there other forms in the mortars, or they are always like these flat slabs with a hole?
Yeah, the interesting thing is that there is a change also. It seems to be, this is very provisional and preliminary, but the mortars mostly correspond to the late PPNE. In the PPMV, they mostly grain, I think. If you check here, sorry, just a minute. Here, and it's not here. We found in this building milling stone. I don't know if it is in one picture. Yeah, it's here. And this is a typical milling stone. Yeah, like ship-shaped milling stone for grinding with a going and back movement.
Yeah.
And the mortars are mostly here. You have another one, milling stone for grinding here.
Yeah.
And this stone was placed here near the human remains in the square pit. So we will check that, but it seems that the mortars for pounding correspond more to the PPNA. And this fits well with is known in other sites. This is a typical Natufian technology, and is also extended in the PPNA. But in the PPNA, they start also using milling stones, and there is a change that is very clear in the PPMB, where most of the milling tools of the groundstone tools are for milling, more than for mortars. If anyone can correct me or has more information, please tell me. But that's my impression.
Thank you.
Questions? Juanjo, you have questions?
No, it was a joke.
Okay, it seems that there's no question. So maybe we close the session. And yes, just to tell you that the next conference, it will be presented by Bogdana Melik, and she will talk about the lithic technology and the neolithization process of Anatolia and the Aegean. So we will send, of course, emails and diffuse the information. So hope to see you again on the 15th of December, so next month. And see you all, and have a great day for everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.